goes back into the 80s. This is about 1985. There was an issue in the transgender community about restrooms. There's always an issue about restrooms. There was an incident, and so I took it to I wrote the mayor. I mean, I worked on his campaign, so I wrote to him. This was Royer, Charles Royer at the time. And he said, well, it sounds like an issue that should be referred to the Human Rights Department, or the Civil Rights Department, whatever they called it then, which was right here on 14th and Yesler, that way. So I met with them and filed a formal complaint, and they pursued it. We won the complaint. Part of their investigation involved getting in contact with a civil rights lawyer. I think her name was Barbara Heavey. I think I remember that right. She wrote opinion 10, opinion number 10. This became a groundwork legal opinion for treatment of transgender people and how they can be accommodated in the public sector. The city council was at that time working on non-discrimination issues in public accommodations, housing, and employment. And Jeanette Williams was the city council person at the time. How come I can remember names from way back and I can't remember things up close? Anyway, Tom Rasmussen was her aide at the time. Well, he and I got together, and they were working on this ordinance, and I said, well, here you've got legal opinion number 10. This is some ammunition for you, some groundwork. So we worked up the definition for sexual orientation, because all that the ordinance was going to say was no discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. We defined sexual orientation to cover all the LGBT people. And that went into the Public Accommodations Ordinance, which was passed in '86. Of course, and I knew this from other things I'd done in the public sphere, that once you set the precedent in one thing, lawyers and legislators are like the rest of us. They're lazy. They borrow. So if you got it in one place, and they're going to put non-discrimination and include sexual orientation in other non-discrimination clauses, well, they're going to take the definition along with them. So they did. And that's how it got into the employment and housing, open housing ordinances in Seattle. And St. Louis and Pittsburgh copied us, almost word for word. And now I think it's changed a little bit, due in large part to the work of people like Marcia Botzer. Sexual orientation and gender identity. It's been lifted out from just sexual orientation and put into its own category. And that's being adopted around the country. So that's where the legal opinion number 10, it still bounces around down at City Hall. But that was a good win. That was a major win, because it's legislation, and when it gets embodied in a legal opinion and then into the law, it's there, baby. It isn't going anywhere.